In this episode of the Modifying Brothers, we're changing the oil filter on my Audi.
Yeah, on his Audi. Roll the tape!
Right, the tools you need is a new oil filter, screwdriver, filter clamp, ratchet, a 19mm socket, an oil filter socket, torque wrench and a sump plug.
Step 1 to this installation is to remove your sump plug. To start removing the sump plug you will need a large ratchet and that 19mm socket we showed you at the beginning.
Right, once loosened you can remove the sump plug. Make sure you know which bolt is the sump plug, otherwise you'll undo something you don't really want to undo. And also make sure you've got something to collect your old oil in, otherwise things will get messy.
Right, lovely.
Next up we remove the under tray.
Next is to unscrew the under tray. When doing this it helps if you have a screwdriver with interchangeable ends in case any of the screws are different from the others.
We have
Under tray.
the under tray.
Step 3 is actually removing your oil filter.
Using the oil filter socket and a ratchet, start undoing the oil filter. After loosening the filter, you can undo it by hand, but make sure you have something to catch the oil with, otherwise you'll make a mess on the floor.
Once you have removed the oil filter and the sump plug, leave the oil to drain for roughly 5 to 10 minutes, and this is also a perfect time to check the condition of your oil.
Next is to reinstall the sump plug, and as you can see it clearly takes a lot of concentration.
See, we are using the torque wrench to torque the sump plug. On this particular car we needed 30 Newton meters, but please check the manual of your car to find out the torque you need for your bolt.
Oil!
Good sauce.
After you've put a bit of oil in the oil filter, make sure you lubricate the seal before it goes onto the car.
Once the oil filter is in the car, you should clean it with a cloth to prevent the tools from slipping. It should also help it stay clean when you drive it on the road.
Here we go.
Once you've tightened the filter by hand, you can then use a torque wrench to tighten it to the correct torque.
Here's to top up the oil. We would recommend using a branded oil. In this case, we've used a measuring jug to keep an eye on how much oil we have put in the car. Make sure that you check the amount your car needs and what sort of oil your car requires as well. In our case, it was a fully synthetic oil and we required about 4.5 litres.
After you've filled up the oil, make sure you check the levels on the dipstick, then add more oil if required. After you've filled up the oil, you're ready to start the vehicle.
After running the car for a little bit, do one final dipstick check just to make sure that your oil level is still where it should be.
After you've finished everything, just put all the parts of your engine back together and you're good to go.
Oh, fuck.
We need an adapter of some sort, mate. That ain't going on. Ready?